Hello everybody. Welcome back to my channel. To those who do not know me, hi, my name on YouTube is ShareCat or K, and I create content primarily related about art. I have a series on my channel called Art Chat, which is typically a video where I go over a certain topic related to art, mainly related to mental health of artists and experiences that I have gone through that I feel like I need to share because many other artists need to hear this because those are things that I definitely needed to hear. This video in particular is an art chat about the topic of when your passion becomes your everything and consumes your entire life. This is going to be kind of a story about this and kind of how I've gone through and tried to heal my sort of messed up mindset about art. I want to preface that a lot of the struggles that are talked about stem from one main insecurity. That is the insecurity of feeling like I am not good enough. The stem issue of what I think caused a lot of my stress and anxiety was younger me mainly did the things that she did because I felt like the only way I could really have purpose was to become good at art. So that's just what I wanted to say to get it out of the way. But now to the actual contents of my story. 2018 to 2019 is when I discovered the world of YouTube artists, or just the concept of artists online. I found these really big popular YouTube artists that I thought were so amazing and so cool, and I wanted to be just like them. So in that summer, I was crazy. I was insane. I filled out maybe 2 sketchbooks that summer. I was having so much fun. I just wanted to get so much better, and that really fueled me and caused me to want to become a better artist. And I think in 2020 is when I got my first ever iPad, which I used mainly for my digital art. So that is when I started my digital art journey, was during the time of 2020, which of course was also COVID-19 era. Whoa. Had to resurface that, where I was stuck at home, and that is when I feel like I got a lot of stress and anxiety, and I slowly treated art not as something that I loved, but something I had to do in order to feel like that I as a person had any kind of purpose. And this is extremely toxic and not true, because I started to think that if I couldn't really be a good artist, that there was nothing that I could contribute to the world because I felt like I was not good at anything else. And going back to that main insecurity of I was not good enough for anything, because during 2020 lockdown, all I would do is my schoolwork at home, and then I would draw on my iPad for hours and hours and hours every single day because I felt that I needed to get better and work harder and do more because I am not good enough and I will never be, and my art right now sucks and I looks like nothing that the artists I like make, and I just need to work harder and get better so that someday I can be a good artist, and I hope that that'll make me happy. Obviously, there was a lot of issues going on there. Whether I realized it or not, or could admit it, I started to tie my self-worth to my art and how well I could draw, which is something you will hear almost every artist say, is that they will recommend you not to do this, to tie yourself to your art, because you probably, as an artist, will never really truly feel happy or satisfied with your art. And you need to learn that how well you draw or how much you draw or what you draw does not make you a better person, because you yourself have so much more worth and you are so beautiful. And I started to believe the lies in my head that had told me that I wasn't any of those things, that I wasn't useful or valuable or important. I thought that if I couldn't contribute anything meaningful to the world, that if I couldn't be a good artist, that what was the point of anything? which is kind of dark. I know, it's very, very sad to think that that was my mentality, especially because at that point in my life, I was in my very formative years of like my development and just growing into a young teenage adult. So I was letting all of these things control me, and that my passion was no longer in the driver's seat of my art, but it was the insecurity of you need to be good at art in order to be good at anything. Because I really, really struggled during those years. I felt like because I tied my self-worth so much to art, I missed out on a lot of life. Like, I wouldn't go to places, I wouldn't talk to people or go anywhere because I was so caught up in needing to draw every single day for hours, because in my head, I just needed to be good at art to feel happy, which is very incredibly toxic of me and not true. And I really do regret a lot of the time I spent choosing to be in that awful mindset when I could have been making good memories, being outside with my friends, doing things in life, and reminding myself that there's so much more to this world and living than drawing. Which, when you're an artist, it's so easy to feel like drawing is everything and your entire world, and you just need to realize that drawing is not the entire world, because there's so much beauty in life that you would miss out on if you only viewed life that way. During 2021 is when I started my YouTube channel, and at first I wanted to become like a big YouTube animator, and as a very young and naive artist, I had the mistake of forcing myself to animate every single week, all the time, constantly making videos, and I quickly plowed myself into depression and burnout. And I think around 2020 or 2021-ish is when I completely revamped my channel, because I had the self-awareness that what I was doing was not at all good for me or my mental health, because I was sacrificing a lot of sleep, a lot of time, and a lot of energy into something that was ultimately not making me feel satisfied or happy. Because of that, I needed to just step back from animating so much that I completely threw myself into more illustration based stuff that allowed me to get better at fundamentals and get myself in a place where I could find drawing to be fun again and just improve my art, because I needed to get my fundamentals and things down before I went back to animating again. You're probably thinking wow, if you want to be an animator, why don't you animate more? It's because I kind of associate that awful time of my life with animation, because I threw myself so much into it that I just turned it into something I needed to do to become good at, to feel like I had purpose, which is a mindset that I really don't like revisiting, because it does kind of resurface those awful feelings and emotions I had during that time. So for the meantime, I really just have been focusing on fundamentals, getting good at drawing in life and forms and people before I try to animate without any kind of knowledge of going through fundamentals. And I just want to make myself feel, I guess, kind of healed before I go back to animating. I just also learned that it's okay for you to step away from art, and that you're allowed to have a life outside of drawing. And I think a big part of it too is realizing that you're allowed to have multiple passions and hobbies, and not just having one that you give your 100% to all the time. And I think my sophomore year of high school, I really wanted to go to dance classes because I wanted to explore that art medium that I had kind of been teaching myself on the side, because I feel like art is so much more than drawing. It's also dancing and singing and acting and all this other stuff. I was I want to learn how to dance, but I have never done that before. So in my sophomore year of high school, up until now, I've been going to dance classes and studios and pursuing that hobby, because that also makes me happy. And if it makes me happy, then it's something that's worth pursuing because it makes me a better person. Something like having a hobby to do outside of drawing really makes you realize that there's just so much in life to enjoy and indulge yourself in. And then the one thing that you feel like is your quote-unquote passion or purpose, you'll realize that you as a person are just so much more than that. Like, you are so much more than what you create. And that is something that my younger self needed to hear, is that you are so much more than what you will ever create. Your worth is not defined by what you do or what you make, because you are so beautiful and you are amazing, and your self-worth should not be tied to anything like that, because that is ridiculous. So, and another one of my biggest hobbies is that I like to create videos for artists, by an artist, because I feel like the messages and stories like this I want to tell, because I feel like there's so many young artists out there who need to hear this and can even relate to my own experiences. And I want them to feel seen in a way that sometimes you just can't get from others. Like, especially if you're an artist, sometimes non-artist friends are great, but have somebody who actually understands what you're going through and what you're feeling is something that really means a lot to me and probably others. So I really hope that my channel can provide a safe place for you to feel welcomed and understood, because I know that myself as a younger artist, I felt very alone and sad in a lot of my experiences, as you probably can tell from my very dramatic retelling of my stories of my past artist self. But I think the artist of now, of June of 2024, is a very, very different person from the artist of myself from years ago. And I think it's really because I've learned that while art is one of my biggest passions in the whole world, it doesn't define me. I don't have to attach my self-worth to how well I can do something, and that I myself, as a person, I am enough as I am. Which is something that I still to this day have to preach to myself, because I feel like no matter what stage in your life you are, no matter who you are, you will at one point in your life feel that feeling of like, I don't think that I am enough, I don't think I'm good enough, especially when we live in an age where it feels like everybody around us has their life together, except for you. But we have to realize that we're just all human. And we're all going through the same experience. I hope that this video can help you in some sort of way. I was very open and honest and vulnerable in this video, and I hope that it can help at least one person feel understood and seen, and that their art does not define who they are or their worth as a person. I really think that the key takeaways I have for this video is that you yourself are enough. You are enough as you are, and you shouldn't attach your self-worth to something like drawing, because you'll never feel satisfied with that. You'll never truly find happiness. You'll try and chase that feeling forever, but until you kind of learn that you shouldn't attach your identity to something like that, I don't think you'll ever truly feel good about yourself. Again, I'm saying this again because it needs to be heard. You are enough, and you don't need to work hard to earn happiness or to feel like you are enough. With that said, I will see you all on my next video. Thank you for watching. I sincerely hope you enjoyed, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye-bye!